Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend.
Morning. Welcome to West Valley Unitarian Universalist Church. I want to assure visitors and longtime members alike that this is a welcoming congregation. You're welcome here regardless of your political affiliation, sexual orientation, economic situation, theology, race, whatever demographic can put you in. Here, we are interested in your ethical action, your being in beloved community with us. I have but one announcement to make this morning, and that is in regards to the trunk sale, which is taking place next Saturday. I'm being told that I'm not heard very well in the back. Can I?
I think the mic's not on.
That's on.
Closer, yeah, it's better.
We're gonna have to talk real close to it.
All right. That's a bit intimidating. All right. So one announcement today, and that is about the trunk sale, which is next Saturday from 8 till noon. And we are really hoping to get a few more trunks committed to that sale. Ann, is there anything that you would like to add? Ann has worked very hard to organize the trunk sale.
Yeah, so far we have 3 people committed to coming to the trunk sale, which is not going to attract a lot of people. Make that 4. You're one of the 3, Glenn. My feeling is I wanted to start advertising this afternoon on Craigslist, but if nobody's going to be here with any goods to sell, there's no point in trying to attract a lot of people. So if you would see me or Coriel after services and commit to that sale, we'd really appreciate it. We need the income.
And last week, there was supposed to be a sign-up sheet. Where is that? I don't know where.
Well, I'm sorry, that's one of the things I didn't get done last week, but you can tell me if you're gonna be here, I'll be
I'm
happy
gonna be
ticketing.
here.
Good, that's 5, let's get 5 more.
So it's a walking, talking sign-up sheet in the form of Ann.
And sometimes she even listens.
No copies can be made.
What are you talking about?
That's true.
So please tell Ann, this is if you didn't catch it, it is a fundraiser for this church and this community. So I strongly encourage you guys to divest yourself of some of the items that you've accrued over the years and allow those to be given new life someplace else and bring money into the church. So next Saturday, and in between now and then, see Ann at coffee hour after church. We hope that you all join us for coffee hour. And now before we get started, I'm wondering if there are any visitors here today. If there are, we would love for you to stand up and introduce yourselves. Tell us where you're from and what brings you here this morning.
Hi, my name is Julia. I'm Mary Lou's granddaughter. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and we're just visiting for the week, and we figured we'd come with her.
Oh, welcome.
Hi, I'm Dylan. I'm also Mary's grandson. And I'm visiting for the week also. And we dragged our grandmother out for church today, so we're grateful for her.
Thank you for bringing her today.
Hi, I'm Nick Reachmack. I'm from Elizabeth, New Jersey, and I'm moving here to be with my children and grandchildren. This is my wife.
Good to meet you.
Welcome.
I'm Valerie Lynch, and we just moved here last week. probably about 15 years off and on. It's my first visit here. I've been to a couple of other Unitarian churches throughout the course of my life, and just getting settled in the West Valley, and thought I'd come and check out the congregation and the services. And today seemed particularly appropriate to be here, and really grateful. So.
Hey.
Well, Tess, and for all of our visitors, Tess, you probably know that each individual Unitarian Universalist church has its own culture and character, and we hope that you all find this one to be welcoming and suited to your disposition. If you would now rise in body and or spirit and join us in our opening hymn, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. It's page 1008 in the Teal Hymn. And we're singing all three verses. Now I'd like to be an offertory for this, but fires we did not build have warmed us. We have drunk at wells we did not dig. Acknowledgement of our many blessings and many needs. Offering is now asked for to support the mission of this church. If you're a visitor, please not feel obligated to contribute. Please just enjoy the service.
behalf of West Valley Unitarian Universalist Church, I accept this offering and hereby dedicate these funds to the works and causes of this congregation. Thank you very much. So now we have a story of all ages. It's already up here too. If there's any other children who would like to join us today. Reading. Love is a handful of honey. Please switch on applesauce. Come on.
Whose kids are these anyway?
It's almost Thanksgiving, and at Thanksgiving, you feel thankful for all the wonderful things in your life, and this book is a list of some of the things that make us feel grateful. Love is that high-flying feeling that makes you leap out of your bed. Love is what makes you throw open the curtains and somersault round on your head. Love is that warm, cozy feeling, a cuddle that tells you you're sweet. And love is that feeling of laughing out loud when somebody tickles your feet. Love skipping out in the morning and hoping the day never ends. And love's what you feel when you all get together and go on adventures with friends. Love's when you hide in the forest in places that nobody knows. Love is that fluttery feeling you feel when a butterfly taps on your toes. Love is a handful of honey, and love's making friends with the bees. Even the flowers are bursting with love when they're dancing about in the breeze. And then when your stomachs are grumbly, love is unwrapping your treats. And love stuffing everything all in at once, leaving masses of mess on your cheeks. Love is splish-splashing through puddles, and love's getting soaked in the rain. Love is a rainbow that bursts through the sky when the sun begins shining again. Love's when you can't stop describing just what you've been doing all day. And love is when somebody quietly listens to everything you've got to say. That would be nice. Love is a great bedtime story that takes you to faraway lands. And love's when you want to show someone you care, so you snuggle up close and hold hands. Love's looking out of the window to wave at the man in the moon. And love's when you whisper goodnight to the stars, who'll be watching you dream very soon. And when you're tired and sleepy, and you're cozily tucked up all tight, love is that last little cuddle and kiss that helps you sleep safe through the night. That was Handful of Honey.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Thank you to my lovely wife Cordell for her patience and her reading. Now, if you please open up your hymnals to 515 for our responsive reading. Raise your hands when everybody's ready. We lift up our hearts in thanks for the sun and the dawn which we did not create,
For the moon and the evening which we did not make,
for food which we plant but cannot grow,
for friends and loved ones we have not earned and cannot buy,
for this gathered company which welcomes us as we are from wherever we have come,
for all our free churches that keep us human and encourage us in our quest for beauty, truth, and love,
for all things which come to us as gifts of being from sources beyond ourselves,
Gifts of life and love and friendship, we lift up our hearts in thanks this day.
Thank you, Richard Fox. And now for the UU Minute. Thank you to Lucy Trissel for getting up this little gem. Let's make this work here. Edward Everett, 1794 to 1865. Edward Everett was a Unitarian minister, a teacher, a statesman, and a renowned orator. His father was also a Unitarian minister, and as a boy, Edward read extensively in his father's large library. He attended the Webster School and was taught by Daniel Webster, with whom he had a close relationship for the rest of his life. He entered Harvard at the age of 13, the youngest in a class. He was considered by his professors to be an outstanding scholar. But after college, he accepted the position of pastor for the Brattle Street Unitarian Church in Boston. He soon abandoned the ministry because he felt he was too young, with too little life experience to adequately serve his congregation. He accepted a teaching position at Harvard, which was rather unusual. He was allowed to travel in Europe for 2 years with full salary. He studied at Göttingen University in Germany and became the first American to receive a German PhD. He taught at Harvard for 5 years and then resigned to pursue a career in politics. He was of the Whig Party, and he was elected to the United States Congress from Massachusetts. At that time, slavery was becoming increasingly polarizing. He opposed slavery, but felt that any attempt to abolish it would lead to war and to dissolution of the Union. In 1836, he was elected governor of Massachusetts. During his time as governor, he made significant contributions to the educational reform. After finishing his term as governor, he was appointed minister to the court of St. James. He served in Great Britain for 4 years, where he was well liked and respected. After returning home, he served as president of Harvard University for 3 years, from 1846 until 1849, before returning back to politics. He was elected to the Senate, where he angered his colleagues by his timidity in the face of growing anti-slavery sentiment, and his desire to compromise in order to save the Union and prevent war. This led to his resignation from the Senate. He spent his last years lecturing and promoting the Union cause. Because he was the most prominent orator of his day, he was invited to give the keynote address at the dedication ceremony of the Gettysburg Cemetery. In his address, he justified the Union cause and predicted that the North and South would reconcile and form a stronger Union. He spoke eloquently for 2 hours, but his speech was eclipsed in history by Abraham Lincoln's 2-minute speech. The world did little note nor long remember what Everett said there, but we all know Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. Everett was a strong supporter of Lincoln, and in 1864, the climax of Lincoln's second presidential campaign, he was honored at Faneuil Hall for his efforts in support of preserving the Union. Thank you again, Lucy. Joys and sorrows. Now is the time in our service where we express joys and sorrows and concerns. For joy is shared is multiplied, and a sorrow shared is divided. I remind you that this is not a time for political statements or announcements.
Hi, I'm Wayne Daniel. Hi, I'm Wayne Daniel, and among other things, sometimes I'm the sound man here, so we'll work on this. I have a joy, and that is that I've been absent for a few weeks, just personal reasons. And the joy is the welcome that I received today. So many people telling me that they missed me and they're glad to see me back and so on, and that's been wonderful. The concern, as you might guess, those who've been here for a while, is my sister, who has lung cancer. Yesterday I received an email from her husband that said that she has stopped eating. She's only taking liquids. And the really serious matter is that she no longer even asked for the TV remote, and it's turned off, and she doesn't care. So I don't think it's going to be much longer now.
Hi, I'm Christine, and I have 2 joys to share today. One is that I finally got a job, even though it's temporary. They let me work pretty much round the clock, 10 hours a day. That's why I'm so tired. And the other is that this church finally bought me a refrigerator to Mitch. Finally I got a refrigerator.
Hi, I'm Gary Vector. I'm thinking about my cousin Jeff. He's driving to Chicago to have prostate surgery tomorrow, and he's got a rather aggressive cancer. We're hoping it hasn't spread. My other sorrow, and I hadn't wanted to express it until I stood up, was that I'm having a conflict with another church member, and I'm hoping that can be resolved soon. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jerry, and I have two joys, and probably the second one is a joy sorrow too. The first one is I've had my second cataract surgery, and so now I'm okay, I think. The second joy and kind of a sorrow is that I've told some of you that I applied for a job at the Pine Ridge Reservation, and I've been accepted. I mean, I've been interviewed and accepted, and I've accepted the job. So I will be leaving, my last day will be December 11th. So that's kind of a sorrow. But you never know, I only have like 2.5 to 3 years to retire. So who knows, maybe I'll be back, it's hard to say. But it's been a great family.
I'm Terry Mead. I have two joys. I was so excited last week about that fantastic hike that I forgot to say that I was also heading to, along with my siblings, up to Sun City, and we celebrated my parents' 62nd wedding anniversary. I'm happy to announce that they were married 18 months before I was born. And yesterday, of course, we had our work day, and I just want to express my joy and thank you to those that turned out. The stalwarts like Nancy Steer and Barry Linden did a great job of cleaning up the mesquite around the quads, and so that we're not walking in. Did a whole lot of work there. And Donna Stever showed up, and she's been away from us for a little while, but she came in and helped me clean up along 59th Avenue. But the real star of yesterday has to be Glenn Snyder, who not only showed up early and burned off a whole lot of testosterone using a chainsaw back on the trees right here, but then stayed until 5 o'clock to help haul things away. By the way, I should also mention Donna's son Dan, very devoted, comes when his mother calls him, and hauled away about 3 or 4 loads of stuff for us, and then lent us a trailer that Glenn hauled with his truck, 2 huge, massive loads of things to get the
Which are now in Dan's yard.
Which are now, and we have completely filled up all of the street space in Dan's front yard, waiting for a bulk pickup this week, so it's great.
What about the kitten?
Oh, hey, we'll put another stone in for that. Shannon, she's over with the kids. Thank you very much. The kitten is now found a new home and a new name. She's known as Rachel.
I have 2 joys this morning, and one is being with family this past week, and the second one is being here this morning.
Thank you, everybody, for sharing. Now, let's see. Now, these last two stones I place in the water for those joys and concerns felt but not expressed, and for those who have no place in which to share. And please stand as you are willing and able, and turn to number 19 in your hymnals for our preparatory hymn, "The Sun That Shines Across the Sea."
We know this. I'll play it.
That was pretty good for never having done that before. And I like that one, so we'll do it again. Maybe not even today. So the problem with having a half-time minister is that I still have a full-time amount of things to say. So I will probably err on the side of Everett rather than Lincoln this morning. And I hope that you can grin and bear it. All right, so you all get the West Valley Unitarian Universalist newsletter. And you all read the West Valley UU Facebook page, right? Okay, quick show of hands. Who is friends with West Valley Unitarian Universalist on Facebook? Okay.
We have more people from outside this congregation friending that page than from inside the congregation.
And much like this exchange, Wayne and I have many provocative conversations on Facebook. And we would invite all of you, those who are on Facebook and those who are not on Facebook, to join and friend us, or friend West Valley, which is kind of like friending yourself in a weird way. But there's lots of news and provocative musings that go on there. If you're not on Facebook, if you have no idea what I'm talking about right now, come see me or even see Wayne, if I may, after service. And seriously, we would like to get you on Facebook. It is a tool for the growth of this congregation and the cohesiveness of its community. So we will grease your tracks into the 21st century, if you will. Find us after service. We'll figure out a way to get you on. Because if you are checking Facebook, you get, among other provocations, a little reminder of what the upcoming sermon topic is going to be. And it's the same thing if you read the newsletter. And so that means once this week and once a few weeks ago, you were able to read that the questions informing this sermon today are: how are the concepts of grace and gratitude related? And how might an understanding of each and both strengthen our ethical resolve and justice making? So have you had a chance to think about it? Of course, there is an obvious lexical relationship between grace and gratitude. They are both derived from the Latin word, the Latin root, gratus, meaning pleasing, beloved, thankful. And isn't that a striking combination of meanings? Because on the face of it, pleasing does not mean thankful, and thankful does not mean beloved. And yet, there is an understanding in the roots of our language that there is a condition in which these three distinct definitions are related. Gratus. What a nimble, ancient little word. You could say then that grace and gratitude flow from the same spring. Their origin, at least, is the same. Which is to say, at least, their origin is the same. So keep this in mind as we speculate further this morning. For the sake of rhetoric, let's hold them apart for a moment and talk about each in turn. And we'll start with grace. Religiously speaking, there are entire theologies based on the concept of grace. And the Greek word for grace is charis. It is the root for the word charisma. Charis, or grace, was divinely personified by the three graces, also known as the charities: splendor, mirth, and good cheer. And so, if we indulge in a little lexical knitting, we can play with the idea that that which is pleasing, beloved, and thankful has something to do with the divine and is called also the charities, which is to say, gifts. Importantly, it was not thought that charisma was crafted. It was a gift of the gods. The New Testament, which was written in Greek, also uses the word charis for grace. And it is as nimble in those texts as it is in its Latin definition. It's used in many ways. But on the whole, the Christian concept of grace is that of unmerited intervention from God. And a whole column of the Christian church rests upon this concept. And of course, our faith has evolved from Christian roots. Indeed, you could say that our universalist forebears relied heavily on the concept of grace. After all, if salvation was universal, which, like grace, is divinely bestowed, it is certainly not something that you can earn. If everyone gets it, it has nothing to do with merit, right? Grace is not a meritocracy. Of course, as the sense of salvation shifted from the afterlife to salvation rather in this world, the concept of grace diminished, and the faith in the dignity and the ability of humanity replaced it. And that's an oversimplification of our history. And in truth, the concept of grace has not entirely disappeared, but I would like to say that it's time that grace made a comeback. Let me first assure you that grace does not need God or gods to be active in our life. You may engage the subject whether you are an atheist or a theist. After all, unmerited goodness occurs around us and in us and between us and for us all the time. The source of grace is something for you to consider. But you do not need a concept of God to understand that you had nothing to do with the place and time of your birth. You had nothing to do with the beauty and bounty of the natural world or the laws that govern it. And consider, too, how infinitesimally remote the chances are that you would be born into this context, that you would emerge out of your material complexity. Given the vastness of the universe and given the particularities of the atomic, elemental, interconnected truths that comprise reality, our life, our living, is as absurd as it is inevitable, and wondrous enough, rare enough, to blow your wee mind sky high. And you had nothing to do with any of that. So that is cosmic grace. And there is historical grace as well, that has to do with your heritage and your nation and your family. All these components of your identity that have been or born gifts into your life and living, that is grace. Grace is all around us, providing us with the most fundamental of opportunities. So what is our response to being so undeservedly favored by the great equation of the universe? So pleased, so loved, so what? Well, perhaps by grace. We have been given the capacity to be thankful. And so we have in a Unitarian church a Holy Trinity: pleasure, compassion, and gratitude. Now, by gratitude, I do not mean the mere impetus to thank somebody, but rather the emotional response of feeling thankful, of feeling gratitude. And this is the only response to grace that has integrity. Fortunately for most of us, the aptitude for gratitude is as natural as breathing out and breathing in. The ability is innate, but not without significant challenge. When you are in pain, emotional pain or physical pain, gratitude seems a field too far. and even cruel to suggest. When you are tired or poor or lost, when you are sick, when you are dying, gratitude to be reminded in those cases that there is much for which we can be thankful feels not like a solve, but a slap in the face. And yet, as I was reminded this week, it is in those times where the good seems most remote and elusive that we must orient ourselves to it. Howsoever futile and far it first seems, howsoever insulting it feels, slapped in the face by the mere suggestion, we may yet find wisdom in turning the other cheek, persevering, and welcoming gratitude into our living. For if you look for it, grace abides. And gratitude is the response to grace. Gratitude is the response to grace, and there is grace all around us. Be pleased. Love. Give thanks. For if you look at it and you don't have a profound, overwhelming sense of gratitude for all the grace in our lives, for all the grace of life itself, then I think that we are missing out on quite probably the best feeling possible, the best feeling that we can achieve, which I imagine to be a deep sense of satisfaction, peace, and resolve. And for all the grace in our life, I don't think that we normally do have a profound, overwhelming sense of gratitude. And I think that's probably a good thing. I think it would be difficult to get groceries if we were overwhelmed by gratitude all the time. Great bumper sticker that says, "Don't I thou and drive." So there is a necessity to the mundane, and we should probably be grateful for that too. Grateful that we aren't grateful all the time. Graced by not realizing it. So because we can't be overwhelmed by grace and gratitude at every moment, we must make of it an intention. And by its practice, find ourselves transformed into people full of satisfaction, peace, and resolve. And this change does not occur immediately or overnight. To change a life, it takes a lifestyle. So how to make it a lifestyle? Well, practice. Start by saying grace again. Give thanks. Meditate, inviting gratitude. Take a walk, and every 12 steps say aloud something for which you are grateful. Grace feeds gratitude, which sensitizes us to grace, which feeds gratitude, which makes a lifestyle. And that lifestyle has an inner reality, a feeling of deep satisfaction, peace, and resolve. And that internal reality, that feeling, also has an external, visible reality. That lifestyle looks like justice. For just as gratitude is the only response to grace, so too justice making is the final response to gratitude. Justice is gratitude in action. Justice is gratitude in action. Just as there is an abundance of grace in this life, so too is there immense and important opportunities for justice making in this life. There are immense and important opportunities for justice making in this city and this state. In fact, in the coming months, there will be opportunities at this very congregation to appreciate the need for justice and to work for justice. We're going to be offering films once a month that deal with social action issues. We're going to be offering a 2-part workshop in the new year regarding anti-oppression work and organizing. We're going to be engaging in a 6-week-long workshop regarding immigration as a moral issue. We hope to come to some clarity on that very complex problem, and we invite perspectives. And all of these are offered to you so that you might work for the betterment of this world. So the death count in Tucson, the Tucson sector of the border, has exceeded 6,000 lives. 6,000 people seeking a better life for themselves and their families have died in our state. Now, frankly, I don't care if you think that their actions are illegal, and I don't care if you think that the policies and systems which result in them risking their lives are evil. But you simply cannot overlook the fact that something is seriously wrong, that human lives are too precious to allow such a state of affairs to continue. Now, I don't know that my answers to this predicament are the right ones, but I do know that the place to start, the vehicle of integrity on the road of justice, is an attitude of gratitude and an appreciation for all the grace in our lives. Gratitude will allow us to enter the fray with love for both the oppressed and the oppressor. And from that place, I invite you to engage with our justice work here. You can make a difference. You might literally and directly save lives. But first, I think it best to cultivate our own sense of thankfulness. So let's practice this practice a little. Because right here, there is so much to be thankful for. I am grateful to your presence here this morning. I'm grateful to this community and for this community. I'm grateful to the board for their commitment to ensuring the functionality of this church, and I'm grateful to the wonderful conversations I have had with many of you, for the people who show up to committee meetings. That is holy work, and I love our time together. I am grateful that my beautiful wife takes on extra twin duty in order for me to work on this sermon, and that when I arrived here yesterday, in order to do just that, I found a cohort of hard-working folks having a good time taking care of this place. Although, admittedly, I was not here until 5. I am grateful for all of your dedication, for all of your perseverance, for your indulgence, for your willingness to heal. There's a lot to be grateful for here at West Valley UU. And I hope and pray that you can feel some of that gratitude. I hope that you feel it. So to close, I would like to come full circle this morning and end by directing you to Facebook. This week I'm going to give you homework. Don't worry, you will not be graded. We're universalists, there's no fail involved, so you all pass as long as you participate. So what I would ask of each of you is to go onto Facebook, and there you will find a post by me every day this week. I'll post when I first wake up, which is around 6:15 in the morning, depending on how late the babies go. The post will read, "What are you grateful for today?" I would ask that each of you, every day this week, respond to that post. Because I think seeing what you all are grateful for will remind me again and again of those things for which I am grateful. And I hope it has the same effect on you. So let it be an exercise in community and gratitude. My hope is that it feeds both. May it be so. If you will now rise and body your spirit, join us in singing hymn 1057. Go, lift it up. And we'll play this one time through. We haven't ever sung this song before, have we? We are blasting through new territory today. So we'll play it one time through, and then join. I'll extinguish the chalice as we read in unison our mission statement, which is printed in your order of service. The West Valley Unitarian Universalist Church provides a safe place to celebrate diversity, draw inspiration for our lives, foster social and environmental justice, and compassionately support each other in our spiritual searches. The benediction this morning is brief. Beloved, seek compassion and be thankful.